What's up, Green Jackets fans, and welcome to this episode of Buzzwords. Our Vice President, Tom Denlinger, joins us now. It's like your, 100th season in Augusta now?
It's my 7th season, Cullen.
Seventh.
Only 7.
I was close.
I may be old. The beard made me look a little older, but I've definitely not been here that long.
We've been here for a little while, and I guess let's just start off because I'm sure a lot of people around here know your story, but if you could maybe just tell everyone how you got into minor league baseball, why you got into minor league baseball, and then how you ended up in Augusta.
Well, we'll start with, I'm from Paradise, Pennsylvania. I think a lot of people that do know me know that I'm from Paradise, Pennsylvania. It's a little town next to Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and Bird in Hand and Blue Ball and all the fun names that you always heard about. But I grew up there and went to Messiah College with a sport management major. During my senior year in college, I did an internship with the Reading Phillies, and that's really where I got my love, I guess, if you will, for baseball. So took that experience, started in May and worked that whole season. And after that season was over, I was fortunate enough to get a job with the Delmarva Shorebirds in Salisbury, Maryland, who are in the same league as the Augusta GreenJackets. So I got my, professional start in the South Atlantic League. Was there for 3 years. Went from there, had an opportunity to become the assistant GM with what was the Daytona Cubs. Now they're the Daytona Tortugas, but while I was there, they were Cubs, and was there for 3 seasons. That's actually where I first worked with Brandon Green, our GM. So we were there together. And then my GM at the time in Daytona got the opportunity to start the Richmond Flying Squirrels, be a part of that leadership team. And I was fortunate enough to go along with him as the assistant GM in Richmond for 4 seasons, 5 years, basically, and get that franchise off the ground. Experience I'll never forget. And then that experience led me to the opportunity to come to Augusta. And 7 years later, we survived Lake Olmsted, and we are now in our beautiful SRP park. We didn't trade it for anything.
So I'm just curious, and this is something I'd love to ask anyone that works in minor league baseball, but to you, what is it that makes minor league baseball so special? Because it really is different from a lot of different sports venues.
It is, and it's different, I think, from person to person. So for me, my favorite part of baseball, which is sometimes the most tiring part, is the games. I love when the people come in and we're making memories and having fun. So that's really what motivates me on a day-to-day basis. I love basically the opportunity in SRP Park has grown our community footprint. It's grown our exposure in the CSRA, so that's been exciting as well too. But really, just the opening of the gates and making it an experience is my favorite part.
Yeah, and speaking of making memories, I'm sure a lot of people have memories of coming to Green Jackets games, but for you over the last 7 seasons, maybe what are some of your favorite memories with the Green Jackets?
So I thought you might ask me this question, and I was trying to think of what would be my greatest memory. And I think I'm going to go with 3 in this case. I definitely probably have a top 10 because I love to do top 10 lists, but 3, and it's not necessarily in order, but I think I'll never forget when we opened SRP Park. It's kind of twofold. We had the Clemson, Georgia game, which a lot of people were there. I think it's now our 4th biggest attendance ever. Then we followed that up with our opening day with the Green Jackets and having all the Giants executives in the house and the crowd. I mean, we had our 3rd biggest crowd for that one, and I'll just never forget it. I mean, it was a pretty awesome experience. Second would be, and a lot of people got to see this, our last season at Lake Olmsted, we opened up with a little celebrity known as Tim Tebow, former Heisman Trophy winner, trying to play it in baseball. It was Easter weekend, and we had, to that point, our 4 biggest crowds to date, the 4th biggest homestand in the history of the Green Jackets. Now, we've trumped that since we've moved to SRP Park, but I'll never forget just that experience with seeing people coming out to see, obviously, what was a former Heisman Trophy winner trying in baseball and doing that kind of thing. And then third, I think we'll go back to last year, making the playoffs. We have not made the playoffs in my 7th season since I've been here. And when we clinched, the noise that came from the ballpark, the excitement of the fans, I mean, it was just an awesome experience. So unfortunately, we didn't get to bring home a South Atlantic League trophy, but we still got to celebrate. And we had playoffs, especially that time of year, can always be tricky with crowds, and the CSRA packed SRP Park. It was awesome.
How cool. So let me ask you now, being home, obviously you're continuing to work and doing all sorts of stuff for the Green Jackets, but in your free time, trying to keep yourself busy while you're at home, what's occupying you? Have you read any good books lately? Started any good series?
So I don't like to read, Cullen. unfortunately. Although I do, every day I read a chapter of some sort of sales training book. That's just kind of, it's one of those things like they tell you what, if you do it for 2 weeks, it becomes habit. So every day when I get up, I have a cup of coffee and try to read a chapter of kind of one of those self-help books, if you will, because that's what this time is for. At the end of the day, I think our whole staff is using this to, how can we make the experience, how can we be better to serve at SRP Park and to obviously grow our exposure and just things that we're able to do and our leadership capabilities. So I do that on when work is over. I have a bit of a green thumb. Traditionally this time of year, I'm not able to do a lot with it, but I have in my backyard probably 3 gardens. So, and what I've learned is I am a northern boy, so I've not learned when you need to plant things. And up north, we would plant things a lot later because it gets warm later. Here, you have to plant things a lot earlier. So I was able to do that this year and seeing the fruits of labor. And I think people have probably seen, the ones that see some of the stuff that we do. I have a Rectech smoker, and I love to dabble in smoking different things. I'm still learning as we go along, but it's one of my, I guess, favorite pastimes. You can put something in, and now that we're working from home, cook it for 12 hours and see how it tastes.
What's the latest thing you made?
Well, tomorrow I'm making pork loins for our family meal kit. So this week we integrated that in. So I'm pretty excited about that. But smoked a chuck roast the other day, did some wings. So, and I actually, for only the second time, did spare ribs this weekend. So they were pretty good. I got to work on my rubs, but they were pretty good.
Nice. And you kind of touched on it, the family meal kit, but the Green Jackets, I mean, as soon as we found out we might not be playing games for a stretch here, they just jumped right in and started doing all these things for the community. To talk a little bit about that and what the team's been doing as a whole.
Well, we've been fortunate. I mean, you, Cullen, you and the marketing team and our sales staff, this is an unprecedented time. So it's been interesting to kind of watch as we go along. We're in the unknown when our season will start, but we're excited for the possibilities. But in the meantime, I mean, today, what is Wednesday, April 29th, and it's Virtual Education Day. So literally this would have been an education day at SRP Park. And the staff has gone through and basically mapped out 8 hours of entertainment for parents having the opportunity to really take the day off from teaching if they'd like to and do those kind of things. And we have an art contest going on to design the first cover of the program, which is pretty exciting. We play trivia every Tuesday. Cullen's our host, but it's just doing little things like that to stay engaged. We're working with our partners to get messaging out during this time. If you haven't done your taxes, obviously TaxSlayer is a great opportunity to do that online and while you're working from home. And working with WOW, they're doing this feature and different things like that we're able to do and just kind of convey some messaging. So we're staying active in the community. I mean, at the end of the day, when SRP Park is back, the one thing that baseball has shown over the years, it can definitely be a vehicle to bring the community together. And we're excited for when that possibility comes sooner than later.
Yeah, and doing things to give back, like the Hive Pro Shop, 20%, going back to AU Health through May 3rd and things like that, just really exciting. And to you, what does it mean for the Green Jackets and the CSRA to really walk hand in hand through this time?
Well, we won't be where we are if the CSRA didn't support us. I mean, we have our attendance going from Lake Olmsted State to SRP Park. I mean, we went up 48%, and that's because this community came out, rallied around us. And that was just games. I mean, we host and we're continuing to grow non-game day events. We're in the process now of, obviously, once we know when things are safe and back to order, of hosting events coming this fall and some bigger events of that nature and just really engaging SRP Park it's built for the community. So at the end of the day, we want to host community events, whether it be the beer festival, Border Bash that's already been announced, to the Palmetto Peach race and different things like that. And we continue to kind of drive events and different things of that nature and look to the possibilities of what could come in the future.
Yeah, and it really is going to be special when we all get back together at SRP Park. But
It's
Tom,
going to be a party. We're going to have a party someday. Sooner than later, we're going to have a party.
Thank you so much for joining us on Buzzwords. This one presented by WOW, Internet, Cable, and Phone, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Be a fan.